Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. Man, so the Primetime Emmy Awards concluded just not too long ago as the time of I'm recording this video. And man, I'm so excited to talk about it. So my original plan was to watch the full show on demand on CTV on Monday, which will be, I guess, the day that this video comes out. And I do plan to watch it on demand. But what happened is that I decided to join the watch party that was hosted by the Prestige Junkie After Party, which is part of the Ankler because I subscribe to them on Substack. So essentially, got notification on that, and I ended up joining in on the watch party as they discuss the award show live. So I didn't watch like the visuals of the award show, but I did heard in the background through one of the hostess feeds there. So yeah, man, have some thoughts on that. So I want to say, I find Emmys are quite interesting when it comes to predicting them because it's my first time predicting the Emmy awards, and I would say based on how I got with the predictions, I didn't do too bad. I actually did it pretty well. I decided to just trust my instincts on most of the predictions while also to try to look at what happened before and all that stuff in terms of previous wins. So I would say not bad. I'm gonna start off with the drama categories because man, out of the categories, I would say drama was quite the toss up. Now, had let's say with the show that ended up winning, had that got the most nominations, I probably would have easily chose that to dominate essentially. But since that didn't happen, like it was always a bit up in the air. Like, would it be Severance winning? Because Severance had the most nominations. Because if you look through the previous wins, usually the shows that end up winning, they tend to have the most nominations either overall or for their category. But yeah, I was so happy that The Pit won drama series. Yay. Now, I probably should have, trusted my gut and say, yeah, The Pit was going to win. I think because of it having the least nominations compared to Severance is why I ended up going with Severance, even though I've said that The Pit is my personal pick to win, and I'm so happy that it won. I would say for me, it's one of the best shows so far of the year. I'm planning to rewatch it in time for season two. That's supposed to come out in January. Looking forward to that. But yeah, no surprise that the pit won. As I've mentioned before, when the TCA, the Television Critics Association Awards happened and the pit dominated that, I'm like, yeah, I think the pit's going to do well with the Emmys. And it did. Even though it didn't get the most wins, but it still did well enough to take the top categories, I would say. So yeah, there's that. And Noah Wiley, he's essentially a double winner because he didn't just win for a drama series, but he also won for lead actor. Yeah, so I would say most people said it was either going to be him or Adam Scott. I wouldn't be mad if Adam Scott won, but yep, Noah Wiley, he ended up prevailing in this category. And I'm not surprised at the end. And I caught a bit of his speech online. It was nice that he thanked the healthcare workers, the doctors, and all that stuff. I saw that apparently his suit was made, I believe, with scrubs or something like that. I have to double check on that. But yeah, congratulations on him on winning 2 Emmys. That's great. That's great. Also, too, some people may find this a surprise. I mean, I did not at the end of the day, but Catherine Lanasso won for The Pit. As I mentioned, I think in my predictions video, one or two things could happen. Either one of the people from the White Lotus end up winning, or they could have canceled each other out, and that's looked like what happened here. And she ended up prevailing as in this category. So, congrats to her. Now, I didn't predict her in the video, but I did say she was my personal pick to win, and I'm so glad that happened here. Let's go through the rest of the drama category. So, lead actress, some may find it surprising. Brett Lauer won for Severance, and I'm not surprised at the end. Now, I did say she was my personal pick to win, but I predicted Kathy Bates to win. I think what ended up hurting Kathy Bates is that her show wasn't nominated in any other categories, because had, let's say, it got nominated in other categories, maybe that could have been a strength for her to win. But since that didn't happen, Brett Lauer ended up prevailing. So good on her, on Brett Lauer, on winning this category. Also, supporting actor, which I was not surprised, but I'm sure some people might be. Tremel Tillman won for Severance, because I think based off some of the prediction videos that I've seen, many predicted Walton Goggins to win for The White Lotus, and I stated the reasons why in my predictions video that was not going to happen, so I'm not going to reiterate. But yeah, no surprise here. Tremel Tillman won. I'm like, obviously, because he was one of the highlights for me with Severance. So yeah, there's and he did a lovely speech I saw with his acceptance speech. So good on that. Um, so I already covered the guest acting categories when I talked about the Creative Arts Emmy Awards. So you could check that out. So I won't reiterate. Let's go to directing. So directing and writing was quite interesting, because many people hoped, oh, it was either going to be Severance dominating or The Pit, in either both or one or the other. But for directing, it ended up going to Slow Horses. It's like, wow. I was kind of surprised, but just reflecting on it, I'm not too surprised, because I think with both Severance and The Pit, for both categories, they ended up canceling each other out, because I think for directing here, both The Pit and Severance had 2 episodes. So I think probably because voters couldn't decide on which episodes to choose from is probably why Slow Horses took it. But also goes to show, don't underestimate Slow Horses, because I think it was last year that won for writing, I believe, and many were surprised that happened. And yeah, I would say this is well deserved with the win for Slow Horses. And I'm glad that I discovered the show earlier this year when I um, it took advantage of Apple TV Plus's free preview, because it was either going to be that show or Severance I was going to use for the free preview, and I ended up choosing Slow Horses. And yeah, thank God I did. And I'm looking forward to the new season that's supposed to start later this month. So yeah, good on Slow Horses. And for writing, went to Andor. So good on Andor, because I wasn't sure if Andor was going to end up winning in terms of the main categories here for Emmys, but hey, good on that show for winning something. So good on that. So that's drama. Let's get into the comedy category. And yeah, no surprise here for series. The studio won, because that was essentially the show to beat. Now, many people I saw predicted they think Hacks would have got it, and yeah, if the studio didn't win, probably Hacks would have took it. But nope, it ended up going to studio, and the studio was essentially the big winner overall for the Emmys. I don't know off the top of my head how many awards it won, but I know it won the most awards overall. So good on the studio. One of my favorite shows that came out this year. And Seth Rogen ended up being a ended up winning multiple awards for the studio, which included lead actor. Yeah, I was not surprised because I think that was the first award that happened at the award show. So yeah, good for Seth Rogen. I saw some people thought that Martin Short would have took it. I think because of the SAG win that happened earlier this year, but nope, Seth Rogen took it. So, yep, he took it. And then lead actress for comedy ended up winning to Jean Smart. I mean, that's no shocker there. It seems like I don't really have much to say for this category. And then supporting, this one was quite the surprise for many. It ended up going to Jeff Hiller for Somebody Somewhere. And wow, like, because it's insane. Because I think when the nominations came at the time, many were surprised that his name was mentioned. And then I guess now, like, for the win, he ended up winning. So congratulations to Jeff Hiller here. I'm sure it's well deserved. I have not seen the show myself, but I probably need to check it out now that since he won for it. So good for him. And then supporting actress went to Hannah Einbinder for Hacks. And I saw many people were predicting her to win. I did not predict her to win, but yeah, good for her for winning this. And I saw her speech, and I see that's becoming viral, and I'm not surprised. So yeah, good for her for winning here. And then for directing, went to the studio for the Wonder episode. I mean, obviously, duh. And writing also went to the studio as well too for the promotion. Because I've seen some people predict that they thought Hacks would have took either one of writing or directing, or maybe both. But no, I predicted the studio for both, and that ended up winning. So good on the studio. Now let's get into limited. So I think out of like the main categories, I did very well in terms of predictions for limited because it seemed pretty easy on that front. So no surprise for series went to adolescence. Yeah, because that seemed like the show to beat. Because after watching the episodes a few months ago, I'm like, yeah, I think this show is gonna take it, and that's what ended up happening here. And Stephen Graham won multiple awards for adolescence. And I find surprisingly, he ended up taking lead actor because many, I would say myself included, thought that Colin Farrell was going to win, but nope, Stephen Graham took it for adolescence. So good for him. So it showed that the voters have really loved that show. So and yeah, like who knows? Maybe Colin Farrell might win an Emmy, somewhere down the line. But yeah, good for Stephen Graham. And but at least the Penguin got an award, a televised award, because Kristen Milioti won for the Penguin. I would say good on her. Like her performance in that show was quite enjoyable. So there is that. And then what else? Supporting both supporting actor and supporting actress went to adolescence. So Owen Cooper, no surprise, he won. I did see earlier in the day that apparently he met Jake Gyllenhaal because I think in interviews mentioned that he would love to meet him and all that stuff. And yeah, that's good that that ended up happening. So good on Owen Cooper, and I see like a bright future for him acting wise. So I think he'll do great. Looking forward to it. And then yeah, supporting actress went to Erin Doherty for Adolescence. Yeah, because with that episode with her and Owen Cooper, brilliant. Very brilliant with that one. Both directing and writing went to Adolescence. So Philip Baranti won for directing, and then Stephen Graham and Jack Thorne won for writing. So yeah, no surprise there. And the other one that I predicted, Variety Special Live. So that ended up going to the SNL 50 anniversary special. I guess at the end, I'm not surprised. I thought that maybe it would have been canceled out between that and the other SNL special, but nope, that ended up winning. So good on that. And then the other awards that were mentioned here. So for talk series, that went to The Late Show, Stephen Colbert. That seemed to be a no-brainer, given what has happened with Colbert and CBS and Paramount. So yeah, no surprise there. Um, And then for variety scripted, for scripted variety series, that went to John Oliver. I mean, that's a no-brainer as well too. Maybe I thought that SNL would have took it because of its year, but nope, it went to John Oliver. So yay, good on that. Now, as for the award show itself, it was okay. The opening sketch where the host Nate Bargatze did this whole history with TV and tried to predict the future and all that stuff. I thought it was fine. It didn't wow me, but it was fine. And then apparently the first award happened after this sketch, and then there was a monologue. I felt that was quite a weird order there. And I think overall, in terms of the presentation of the awards, felt a bit off because there was a mix of different sections that happened all together. Now, the last time that I watched the Emmys in full, it was probably over a decade ago when I had cable. But essentially, they did sections where they did a group of categories, let's say for comedy first, and then they'll do a next set for drama, then limited, and then they'll leave the main categories towards the end. So I thought they would do something like this for the show, but nope, it was a bit all over the place. I don't know if they did the order that they did because I don't know, maybe certain awards were, you know, more anticipated than others. That would be my best bet. But other than that, I'm not too sure on why they did the order that they did. Um, I've seen online many people were complained that when the studio won, they did not thank Sal Saperstein. Now, if you have not seen the episode on the studio, it's the Golden Globes episode where they do this whole running gag where they thank Sal Saperstein. I'm not surprised because this is the Emmys. Because I mean, it would have been golden if this happened at the Golden Globe Awards since that episode took place at the Golden Globes, because I would, be a full circle moment for that. So I think we'll have to wait and see if that happens at the Golden Globes. If that doesn't happen at Golden Globes, then yeah, that's a missed opportunity. Also, too, when they were presenting the nominations, they did more like a montage or a sizzle reel, and I felt that went by quickly because I'm familiar with most of the shows, but I don't know. But if there was some people that are not familiar with the shows or performances, it would have been preferable, like for clips. I wonder if they did that for the sake of time, so that they could finish by 11 o'clock. Because I think it finished a bit after 11, if I'm not mistaken. Also, too, there was this whole running gag where they were gonna donate money to the Boys and Girls Club, which is nice to do charity. But then the thing is that if your acceptance speech goes over 45 seconds, the money decreases. I'm not sure how to feel about that. And I felt like that bit kept going on and on. It seemed like that's what the host was leaning towards for the most part. I didn't really like that myself. It's nice to do stuff for charity, obviously, but just to do that every time. And then I think for certain speeches, they didn't have the timer while others did. I'm kind of just like, yeah, they should have just killed it. When Jimmy Kimmel a couple years ago, when he hosted the Oscars, he had the nice bit where whoever had the shortest acceptance speech was going to win the jet ski. And I felt like that did a better job with that as opposed to what Nate Bargatze did with the Boys and Girls Fund. I think the next award shows would be Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. Now, I believe for next year, because usually it's Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, but it seems like this time it's reversed, where it's Critics' Choice then Golden Globes. So I'm wondering if the shows that we see that won are going to end up dominating for those award shows, or since there's other shows that are not being considered for Emmys, most likely be considered for the other shows, will that end up being a post threat? I mean, we'll have to wait and see, because I think anything can happen, but I won't be surprised if, let's say, the pit or the studio, I'm not sure if adolescents will be eligible, but I'm sure with the two shows, if they ended up dominating the Globes and Critics' Choice, I would not be surprised at the end of the day. But yeah, that's my whole spiel on the Emmys. So yeah, I enjoyed the wins. The show itself was very hit and miss for me. So there's that. I would love to know your thoughts on all Emmys. Let me know in the comments section. Do you agree with the wins here? Which ones surprised you? Which ones did not? So let me know. If you want to support me, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/numphy where you could donate and also to look at posts that I have there. I do have a community page on YouTube. So if you're a subscriber, feel free to leave comments there as long as it's under community guidelines. And if you want to follow me on social media, my links are in the description. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you on the next one.